Good morning, class. Yesterday we learned how to do 4x4s. I hope a lot of you had success with that. Remember, when you were putting your numbers together, your problem should have looked like this, where you had 22 at the top of each of these equations in this column, and 61 at the top of each of these, 94 at the top of each of these, and 38 at the top of each of these in this column. And then going across in rows, we had plus 24 and we went right across, plus 35 went right across, plus 46 went across, and plus 57 went across. As you'll notice, it makes 16 complete different problems for you to do. Now, the thing I love about 4x4s is it stresses these things that we talked about yesterday. So I'm going to remind you that we're learning the standard algorithm for addition has 3 simple rules. Okay, and I remember I told you yesterday that algorithm, what the big word algorithm means is like how we do things, what the process is. So you could say the standard process for addition has 3 simple rules, or how we do these, how we add is, it has 3 simple rules. Okay, so those are things to keep in mind. Now remember, rule number 1 says line up the numbers vertically by matching the place values and start with the ones place. Now rule number 2 is add together the numbers that share the same place value. Again, it wants to remind you, start with the ones place. And the third rule is regroup if necessary. Now I'm going to show you one more time how to fold your paper. Okay, I'm going to use line paper again. Okay, remember it's 4x4, so we're going to be folding this paper 4 times in half. Okay, so I go one time, fold it in half. There's once. Notice I tried to get as close to perfectly in half as I can, and then I fold it in half again, being careful to make sure it's in half. Okay. That's twice, and I fold it 3 times in half. Try to make it straight, and then I do it the 4th time. So I folded my paper 4 times. It's going to be looking about that size, and then I open my paper up, and I should have my 4x4. And I look at this and I go, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4 across the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to show you the numbers for today that we're going to place in here. The numbers are going to be a little bit different. And let's see where we at. Okay, now today it's going to be just a little, I'm adding just another digit to a couple of these. You'll notice yesterday we had all 2-digit numbers. This time we have 1, 2-digit numbers, and the last 2 numbers are 3-digit numbers. And coming down here we're adding 2-digit numbers, but the last 3 we're going to be adding is 3-digit numbers. So this is going to help us to remember that we line up the numbers vertically. Okay? So I'm going to show you how this is done. Remember, the 37 is going to be the top number in all the boxes in the first row, or the first column. So I take my piece of paper. I look at this is my first column. I'm going to put 37 in the top of the box. It's not completely to the top because I want to have room to work, but it's close to the top, right? And I do the same here. 37. 37, 37. The next column is going to be 61. So I put 61 towards the top of this one. 61, 61. Notice I'm going to the next box and doing it kind of close to the top. 61. Now here comes our first 3-digit number, and it's going to be in the top number in all of the boxes in that column. So we got 223, 3 digits, 223, 223, and of course 223. And the next number that goes in the last column, top number of the last column, is 182. So I write those in, 182, 182, keeping in mind to make sure you leave yourself a little room at the top of the box so you have room to work your problem. 182. So we've got that done. Now we're going to add the numbers. The bottom numbers go across the rows, so they kind of mix with each other. So in the top row, the bottom number of the top row is going to be plus 72. So I'm going to come across here and I'm going to go plus 72, keeping in mind that I've got to keep them lined up in their place, because the 72. Okay, now with this one, I've got to line it up right. And the 2 goes in the ones column and the 7 goes in the tens column. If I were to write the 7 over in this column and the 2 here, it might really mess up my answer. So I always have to make sure that I line them up properly in their column. And then I'm going to put 72 here, and nothing's going to be in the ones column except for the plus sign, or the hundreds column, right? Because it doesn't have one. Now we go to the next number, and we find out the next number to go across this row is plus 45. So I go plus 45, plus 45, plus, and I got to make sure I line these up, 45, tens column, ones column, and plus 45, tens column, ones column. Okay, next row that comes across is going to be a 3-digit number, so we make sure we line those up. It's going to be plus 119. So I go plus 119. Notice I don't have anything in the top digit in that hundreds column, so this 1 is going to be out here hanging by itself. Same with the next one, 119 plus. Now this one on the third number has a hundreds column, so I can match those up, make sure they're in the right columns. 119. This is an important activity to help you to see how important it is to line those numbers up right. And the last number we're going to add to it today is 338. So we're going to put 338, and it's a plus. And notice there's nothing here for that 3 to be under, because there's only 2 digits. There's nothing in the hundreds column in this number. So I just leave it like that. And I go 338, same problem, same deal. Now this one has one in the hundreds column, so I'll be able to add those up, or put those in the right columns. And 338. And now you have 16 problems that you can work. I'm just going to work one problem with you so you can see how important it is to carry. Let's try this number right. Let's do this one here. Oh, look, this one here's a good one. 182 plus 72. Okay, so I always start, what does the rule say? Start in the ones place. So I come over here to the ones place and I go 2 plus 2 is 4. I write my answer down. And then I go to the tens place and I go 8 plus 7. Well, that's 15. Can I write the 15 down here? No, I have to regroup, or sometimes people call it carry. You call it whatever you want, but we're going to carry that 1 over into the hundreds column. And now I add up all the numbers in the hundreds column. That's 1 plus 1 is 2. Nothing else to add, so I just bring the 2 down. There's my answer. Okay? You go ahead and work those problems. And tomorrow, I'm going to make it a little more tricky, because we're going to be putting in subtraction numbers. But you make sure you get these lined up all the way they're supposed to. Do the problems, take a picture of it, and then show Mr. Mitchell. Okay? Oh, and by the way, I'm going to put this little sign on your Canvas page so you can refer to it to remind you what the rules are. Line them up, add the numbers that are in the same place value, starting in the ones place, and regroup if necessary. Okay, see you tomorrow.